And hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Reflexonics Podcast Show Network. Last week we did a series of podcasts and I hope to be adding to them. We showed you how to take that old notebook computer that's been sitting around for about 6 years and how to effectively clean the case, revive it, how to clean the keyboard, how to even pop some of the keys off to get at the crumbs, you know, those cookies and cakes and pastries and sandwiches that you love to eat over top of the keyboard. That's not a good thing to do because you know that there's going to get crumbs underneath the keyboard. So I showed you with a small screwdriver how you gently, it's not for everybody, how you pop one end of the key off and then you can get your vacuum in there, because a lot of people will think, oh my goodness, my keyboard on my notebook computer is no good, and they'll go up and buy another notebook computer when it's just a piece of cookie crumb or something in there, or a sesame seed that has come and wedged itself underneath the keypad. That's the first sin, is eating in front of your over your keyboard. The second sin is drinking water over top of your notebook computer keyboard, of course, and then when you get water in there, it'll short out the board. I got over that a couple of years ago. I found a wonderful little product, and I want to show you. I want to hold it up. This is a keyboard, and it's a rubberized keyboard, and if you should spill some water or liquid, coffee or tea on it, it is rubberized and it cleans up very, very well. And it just, look at this. Have you ever seen anything like this? They're about $20. I own 3 of them. See how they crackle? I own 3 of them. I've got one here on the workstation for the broadcast studio, and I've got one for my notebook computer when I go and have to do a mobile podcast. But they're great. So if you do a lot of eating and drinking over top of your keyboard, place your notebook away from you and get one of these little keyboards. It'll save you a lot of frustration. Now let's get on with today's show. We went to the 2010 West Coast Women's Show, and let me tell you, it was beyond unbelievable. That show has got to be the most popular venue that they put in the TradeX. And let me tell you, if you think that women aren't powerful and they aren't influencers in today's modern society, and they are not decision makers, and if you're making a huge mistake, because women more and more, they are the ones that are buying the cars, and they're outpacing the men in a lot of purchases. So this West Coast Women's Show, it was a delight just to go down the booths. And a really interesting thing is, one of the booths, they were selling oxygen. Yeah, and they do corporate parties. It was quite bizarre. So I might put the links up to that particular website. It was really interesting, and it's something unique. But in our modern day society, isn't that weird that we have to sell people oxygen? It was busy. People were lining up, and they had the little nose things like you're in the hospital. And wow, so many different businesses come together and network. But I wanted to take an opportunity to talk about a couple of businesses that really impressed me. Now, as you know, if you know anything about our seminar program that we're launching, you'll know that we use reflexology. We take the most powerful points of hand and foot reflexology, and we show you how to use reflexology in order to relax right in front of your computer terminal. That is one of the cornerstones or the pillars that we have used to build our business, Reflexonics. And Reflexology Association of Canada was at the booth, and they were really, really full. And reflexology is really taking off as a nice modality and alternative therapy. And let me read you just the highlights of their pamphlet. It says, well, let's see this one here. A complementary holistic modality that offers stress reduction, improved circulation, relaxation, and assists the body's natural healing abilities. So there's a lot of studies now in hospitals that verify the validity of using reflexology in order to relax. And that's what we're all about. Another booth that we went to, my wife is a fanatic about this program. It's called the Sure Slim program. And what you do is it's doctor supervised. And she took the program. She lost over 25 pounds very, very quickly, safely, and efficiently. They take your blood, and they put you on a diet according to your blood type. Again, it's doctor supervised. So we'd like to, in the future, we'd like to have RAC on, the Reflexology Association of Canada, to talk about the benefits of reflexology. Then I'd like to have these folks on from SureSlim. And let's face it, when we sit in front of a computer, the Doritos and the nacho chips are within arm's reach because we're literally tied, ball and chain, to this machine we call a computer. So what happens? Well, we gain weight, and obesity creeps up on us. I've got a little bit of a paunch that I have to lose, and multiple health challenges like diabetes, glaucoma, high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, the whole thing because of our sedentary lifestyle. So that's why we've put together this program, eFlexonics, everything healthful and helpful for the computer user. Another booth that we were really impressed on was this. It's called NutriCleanse for Life. And my wife is a big believer in flaxseed. She puts flaxseed in everything, and she has a little concoction in the morning that she puts together full of flax. She grinds it up in a coffee grinder and puts it together with some kind of a juice and takes her vitamins with it. And this stuff, ingredients, NutriCleanse, contains only the following all-natural organic ingredients: ground flaxseed, ground psyllium husks, dandelion root powder, burdock root powder, fenugreek seed powder. Yvette Eastman, my reflexology teacher, has an in with a brilliant herbologist, and I want to have the herbologist on the show as well to talk about herbs specifically designed for the computer user and their unique situations and the unique challenges that they face during the course of the day. Now let's save the best for last. I was walking down, and I've seen these two women at booths before in the women's show, and I stopped and talked to them, a delightful couple of women, for about 10 minutes. The first woman, her name is Jaggy Egnell, and they are hypnotherapists. And the other woman is Ruthie M. Boehm, and they are both certified hypnotherapists, and I'll hold their cards up. Of course, you can't see them, but what they did is they gave me a CD called Innerversions Hypnotherapy Clinic. Now, there's a little bit of a story that goes along with this. 24 years ago, 1986, when I used to suffer terribly from migraine headaches, and I used to smoke, I walked into a class, and we learned a version of hypnotherapy. After I took the class, actually the first 4 hours of the class, I learned a technique that allowed me to completely get rid of my headaches, because doctors will tell you 98% of all headaches are stress-related, are tension-related. Do you know that I haven't had a headache since 1986, and I probably will never have another tension headache at all, because I found the switch, and I learned to turn the switch off that was causing the migraine headaches, and then as I relaxed and made that a habit through hypnotherapy, it just breezed through. I stopped smoking the same way. Do you know that they've had clinical studies proving beyond a doubt that people have stopped many things, that weight loss through hypnotherapy, stopped smoking, tension headaches, limited belief systems? Because let's face it, when you have a belief system, it is not necessarily based on the truth. It's based on a belief system, your own personal happenings in your life that may have nothing to do with the truth, but it's what you've been taught. So, you know, a hypnotherapist is really a mind specialist. If you have a challenge with your brand new Ford car that you bought a year ago, still under warranty, you don't drive it down to a backyard mechanic and have them work on it. Same thing with a hypnotherapist. If you need a breakthrough, something that you've banged your head against the wall for a couple of years and you think there's got to be a better way, but I just don't know how to do it, do yourself a favor and see an experienced hypnotherapist. Now, here's something that I really want to point out. I'm doing a lot of research on the internet lately about diabetes, type 2, because I'm a type 2 diabetic. And you know the laparoscopic band that they surgically put around your stomach? Well, they've had a high degree of success when they put around the stomach of type 2 diabetics, and they've actually controlled and eliminated the diabetic the diabetes in the person just by putting that laparoscopic band around their stomach, because they will not eat as much food as they did. And remember, obesity is a contributor to diabetes. You have PONT, and it's the worst thing for a diabetic to have that little fat gut. around the middle. Well, these hypnotherapists have come up with something called the HypnoBand weight loss system. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to have them both on the show, and Ruthie and Jaggy. Jaggy is actually in Abbotsford, so I want to bring Jaggy into the studio if I can, and then Ruthie, we can do a series of podcast shows over Skype, and maybe have a collection of podcasts to show you what hypnotherapy will do, what it won't. May not work for everyone, but I'll tell you what, I have personally lived through it. It is extremely powerful. And I know people now that would give almost anything just to be able to be headache-free, just to be able to stop smoking, just to be able to get rid of limiting belief systems. Take your mind, if you're having a challenge with it, to a specialist. These people have taken specific training to help you. Now remember, hypnotherapy is recognized by the medical community. For instance, in certain situations where they don't have the medicine to knock a person out for surgery, they can hypnotize them. They hypnotize you for painless dentistry. The person that taught me hypnotherapy 24 years ago, Alan Lees, he would hypnotize himself, and he would literally tell himself that he could freeze part of his jaw, and he would go in and get painless dentistry done. He would have the drill going and the smoke coming out of the mouth, and he would not feel pain at all. Here's an interesting story. And I've said this a couple of times, but it's worth mentioning again. There was a woman in the book called Healing in the Mind by Bill Moyers. She had multiple personalities. One of the personalities that showed up, she was non-diabetic. So they tested her physically. A doctor would test her pancreas. Pancreas was functioning perfectly at normal levels. One of the personalities that would show up was a diabetic. And when that personality showed up, the doctors would test her pancreas. The pancreas was not functioning at a proper level. It was functioning partially at a diabetic level. She physiologically changed with her emotions, her attitude, and because of the change of the personality, she changed the function of one of her internal organs from a healthy working organ to a substandard working organ, and now she was truly, in every respect of the word, a diabetic. Now, I'm not saying that you can do the reverse. I'm not saying that if you have a pancreas that doesn't work, you can hypnotize yourself and make it work. But what I am saying is this. The human mind is so powerful that if you can take a person and convince them that they're diabetic and their organs actually follow, that's what I'm talking about. It's the influence of the human mind. So hypnotherapists can help you actually clear up the clutter that may be holding you back. And if you've never tried hypnotherapy, or what I use in the seminar program for Reflexology, it's guided visualization. And it's the same principle as if, when you've read a really interesting and fascinating and vibrant book, and a couple of weeks later, you can't remember whether you saw the movie or read the book, it's the same thing. Guided visualization is a form of hypnotherapy. Nothing scary about it. It's just a process. So that's why I want to have these ladies, Ruthie Boehm and Jaggy Egnell, on the show to explain to you what it's about. I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and in the coming weeks and months, we hope to have a whole bunch of people from the Women's Show on this podcast show, either in the studio or by Skype podcasting. Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? Now, if you know of a professional that you think would add value to this program, specifically for a computer user's support, emotionally, physically, mentally, or if you know of even an Apple app for the iPhone that would help people. Remember, everything healthful and helpful for the computer user, give us a shout. You can reach us at email at eflexonics@gmail.com, or our other email address, healthytechtalk@gmail.com as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and wait until you see the special guests we have lined up for you. You'll be delighted. You'll laugh. You'll just have such a great time. We're really looking forward to it. So for now, this is Rick Holland from Reflexonics saying, thanks so much. Have a great week in business, and we'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.